Hi there. Do you want your child to speak a foreign language, even if you don't? Most parents think that's impossible, but I discovered a path that works great, especially so for kids 3 to 7, when their brains are like sponges. I'm going to share my method with you. So by the end of this video, you'll see how kids can start basic conversations without a single formal lesson. All it takes is the right approach and tools for each stage. Many think you need expensive tutors or fancy courses. Not true. You just need to spark curiosity and create daily exposure through fun activities.
About 2 years ago.
And all the girls say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Daddy, what song is that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
What language is that, Daddy?
That's counting in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
But you said 5 2 times. That's silly.
You're right. You want to learn how to count correctly in Spanish?
Yes, how do you say 7?
Let's find out together. That's my daughter. And that simple moment sparked a language adventure that surprised us both. In this video, I'll show you our 3-phase journey. It's the excitement phase, which you saw here earlier, the natural immersion phase, and finally the mastery phase. Think of it as a treasure map to your child's fluency. You'll learn which free tools work for any language. Although I will use Spanish in my examples because that's the language my daughter learns right now. But the best part, your child could reach the treasure, the fluency or the fluency stage in less than 2 years. And I say could here because there's a lot of different factors that come into play here. But the path is easier now than ever. New AI tools have created shortcuts for language learning, and I'll show you these tools for free. I'll also share some paid options that can speed things up if you want to invest into your child's journey. But don't worry, I'll also address the common obstacles that trip up most parents. I helped many families through this journey and know the challenges that you're likely to hit and how to solve them. So who's your guide on this adventure? I'm Bill. I taught languages to kids for over 10 years. I raised my daughter to speak 3 languages and now she's learning Spanish as her 4th. But this treasure map works even when you don't speak the target language yourself. So I don't speak any Spanish really. Probably all I learned was from my daughter. What makes this method different? We start where kids' brains work the best, with play and discovery. So that's the secret. We build until your child speaks confidently, just like Selena now speaks English, Norwegian, and Thai effortlessly.
Now I get to be the Spanish teacher in the house.
Have you noticed how easily your child picks up words in your own native language?
Spanish is my 4th language. I got curious about the Offspring song, and later I wanted to learn Spanish.
Let me show you how our 3-phase approach works, because we will use those same natural abilities to pick up the language. And stay with me here because around the 12-minute mark, I will reveal a powerful tool that many language teachers don't even use yet. Think about this. Could the songs and cartoons your child already loves become their path to fluency? It could. I'll show you how. So, the first phase is all about creating interest. You'll introduce the language in fun ways with no pressure to learn. So the goal here isn't teaching, it's making positive connections with the language. For this phase, here are free tools that I recommend. First, use music they already enjoy. Many popular songs have foreign versions. You can find these on Spotify or YouTube. Do you remember how Selena got interested when I played Pretty Fly for a White Guy?
Give it to me, baby.
That tiny exposure sparked her curiosity. She chose Spanish herself, actually, and I didn't choose it for her. Do you want to help your child pick a language as well? Then try rifffusion.com. This free AI tool creates songs in any language about any topic your child loves. So you can imagine a Swahili song about dinosaurs or unicorns or something like that. It's great for languages that don't have much content on YouTube. Like Swahili probably doesn't have that much, right? Check out our video on Rifffusion. I'm going to put a card here in the corner so you can see it right away if you want to. Next one. Third, YouTube has thousands of children's songs in many languages. Start with simple but popular counting songs or nursery rhymes in the target language. The key to success in phase 1 is making these moments fun and not educational. It's really important. Your excitement matters more than your language skills. Even 5 or 10 minutes of Spanish music during play time or driving can help. So during phase 1, notice what catches your child's imagination. We can build on that in the next phase. Here's just one example. What if your child had a special friend who only spoke Spanish, or whatever language you want to go for? We'll explore this one further in phase 2. But how do you know when to move on to phase 2? Watch for these signs. Your child asks what words mean. They try to sing along. Or they ask for that Spanish song specifically. When you see these signs, it's time for the next stage of the language treasure hunt that we're on here. And that brings us to phase 2, natural immersion. And here we build on their curiosity. Here's where most parents make a big mistake. They see interest and jump straight to formal lessons. But that's backward. Instead, we will create natural conditions for language learning, just like when they learn their first language.
Castillo. That means castle.
Oh, you learned from that video yesterday, right? I'm impressed.
I'm making a castillo grande.
A big castle? See, your Spanish is getting better every day. Okay, so in this phase 2, natural immersion, that's where the magic happens. We slowly increase exposure while keeping it natural and stress-free. And this actually copies how children learn their first language. And the science is clear. Kids from 3 to 7, they can absorb languages easily with regular exposure, but it must be meaningful, so it must be a context. They don't need grammar lessons, they need real input in real situations. Try to avoid teaching the foreign language through their native language. This approach works for adults, not kids. For children, just give them the target language directly.
It's like how I learned English. Nobody gave me grammar lessons.
Remember that special friend who only speaks the target language that I mentioned earlier? This is where that idea works great. So choose one of your child's favorite toys or make a special puppet that comes from this country where the target language is spoken. Then say that this character only understands that language. This creates a natural reason for your child to use what they're learning, even if it's just simple words at first. And here's how to create immersion with free tools. First, you got to find a tool like Dreaming Spanish, and this is a website that offers hundreds of Spanish videos in an easy-to-use interface. But if you can't find something similar for your language, use YouTube to find this similar kind of content. This takes a lot of work, but with AI you can do it much faster. Don't worry if this doesn't work for you. I have more free tools coming right up.
I love free stuff because I don't get allowance money.
A quick note about screens. For children under 3, focus on audio instead of video. Older children, though, can benefit from limited quality visual content mixed with audio options. If you want to know why, see our video Screen Time for Kids is Not the Enemy, where we explain the hidden risk of screen time.
I use an app called Storytel. I can listen to English and Norwegian books for just $10 a month.
For almost any language, you can use instant.audio, which streams over 100 languages. If your target language doesn't have a children's station, there you can find local radio stations, and I will show you how in a different video. This creates real exposure without the screen time concerns. For detailed guides on all the tools that we're going to go through today, so that is instant radio, Spotify, and local radio stations, check out our step-by-step guide on this, which is linked in the end screen of this video. It shows exactly how to use each one. And also, don't forget Spotify. It's not very well known in the US, especially among older folks like me, but it offers podcasts in countless languages that will make really a perfect situation for background listening for your kid. One final tip for immersion before we look at a success story.
Sometimes I switch the audio to Spanish in my favorite movies. I understand since I've seen the movie in English 4 times.
Change the language setting on apps and games that your child already uses. For older kids, you can even get games that are more optimal for language learning. So there we have Ocean Horn is one example. I wouldn't say it's super optimal for language learning, but it's more optimal than most games. So if they play already, why not play something that has a little bit more language teaching in it than other games. When Selena navigates her favorite game in Spanish, she's learning vocabulary naturally without even realizing it. And sometimes she even watches video of her favorite games in Spanish on that Dreaming Spanish application or webpage. Okay, I don't know about you, but I need a break from myself. So let's listen to a success story.
Meet Emma. Her parents didn't speak English, but wanted her to learn. After learning about these techniques, they played English songs during car rides and bedtime. 3 months later, Emma started naming everyday objects in English. By 6 months, she was having simple conversations with students of an English-speaking program from her brother's school.
The key is being consistent and using variety. The studies shows that varied exposure builds language skills best.
I try listening to Storytel while brushing my teeth. I accidentally put toothbrush on my hairbrush. I mean, toothpaste.
The mixing audio, video, and interactive content works better than longer sessions of just one format. So divide it up into sessions, smaller sessions, throughout instead of just one long session. Are you worried about confusion between languages? Don't be. Children's brains easily distinguish between different language systems. And early exposure to multiple languages actually help brain development. I know you might be thinking, this sounds great, but I need more specifics. Don't worry. I have created detailed plans for toddlers and young children that breaks down daily and weekly schedules. You'll find it in the description. You can also download a document about the research behind all this. It's easy to understand, I promise. Common challenges and solutions, we'll take a look at that right now. So what are those challenges? Here are the most common ones parents face and how to solve them. So maybe my child shows no interest. In that case, connect the language to their strongest interests. If they love dinosaurs, find dinosaurs videos, maybe songs and stories in the target language. Their excitement about the topic will overcome any resistance to the new language in the long run. The younger they are, the easier this works.
Daddy plays superhero and villain with me. We have a shop where you can buy weapons.
Okay, so second challenge, our schedule is too busy. So language learning doesn't really need extra time except for that first setup phase that we talked about. It's about changing existing activities. Car rides, bath time, and bedtime are perfect for language exposure through music or audio stories. Just set up the routine and build on it later. Let me be clear about time. So just 15 minutes of focused language activities daily, plus background exposure during regular routines, that's all you need. This doesn't have to add to your schedule. It might actually make it easier once you set up the system, but yes, it may be a little bit extra work at first. But remember, being consistent matters more than the amount of time. Besides, once you have the routine, you can build on it later. So a third challenge might be, I'm worried about mixing languages and confusing my child. So you gotta understand that research shows that children naturally separate languages without confusion. It's a myth that they mix it. Well, they do mix it, but only in the beginning. So it's part of the process. Celebrate when they use any word from the target language, even in the middle of a sentence, when they speak their native language. So as they grow, like I said, mixing will decrease. Okay, so now we're gonna move to phase 3 of this journey, this treasure hunt journey that we are on. But how do you know that your child is ready for phase 3? Look for these signs. They might repeat phrases from videos or songs. They use basic words correctly. Or they show interest in talking with speakers of the target language. When you notice these signs for a few weeks, your child has built a strong foundation. This is the perfect time for phase 3, which is mastery. And here, we'll actively start using what they've absorbed.
About 6 months ago.
Come with me. We're gonna tell Selena about the new language exchange program for kids that I found. Selena? I'm gonna show you something. Today, I registered you on a language exchange page. Do you know what that is?
No.
You can meet other people who are your age that you can talk Spanish to, and then you speak English to them. So I asked them if they wanted to meet you on Saturday.
Following signs from above,
Phase 3 moves from passive understanding to active communication. Most traditional language programs start here, but if we follow our 3-phase treasure map, your child already has a strong foundation.
Now I get to make real friends who can laugh at my knock-knock jokes in another language.
And now for the game-changing tool that I promised you that can transform your child's language journey without costing anything. Remember that Spanish counting song that first sparked Selena's interest in the beginning of the video? Now, imagine your child having entire conversations about their favorite topic in the foreign language. That's exactly what Phase 3 enables through these powerful tools. For this phase, we have 2 options. The free option is ChatGPT as a language partner. This tool can actually talk with your child now in any language. It can even pretend to be characters that your child loves. So the basics are simple. Create a free ChatGPT account, then watch our step-by-step tutorial on setting this up. There are a few tricks and things you need to know for it to work well. The link is in the description to that video. Or you can also click this card coming up here. And then we have a premium option, and that would be community tutors on platforms like italki or Reply. You don't need a certified teacher, actually. Community tutors are native speakers who can have conversations with your kid for much less, maybe just $5–10 for a 30-minute session. And remember that while adults might need grammar explanations, children don't.
I didn't want a tutor, so I have a language buddy instead.
Throughout all these 3 phases of this treasure hunt, remember this key point. Success isn't measured by how many words your child can list, but their attitude toward the language. When they use it in play and show real interest in communicating, you know you are succeeding. Let me sum up what we covered on this language treasure map. Start with music and fun in Phase 1. Create immersion with a variety of content in Phase 2. And enable conversations through AI or tutors in Phase 3.
First, you wiggle your ears to the music. Then you make friends and talk a lot. Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? Then you fill your brain with stories.
The approach works because it follows how children naturally learn language through meaningful conversations, context, real communication. The best part is that you don't need to speak the language yourself to create this environment. So now, as I promised, I created 2 special resources to help you along this treasure map. It's in the download area. If your child is older than 7, you don't have to worry. This approach can still work, though you might need to adjust a bit and it might take longer time. For teenagers, I would say that music and shows, series in the target language can be very effective to start with. So what language are you helping your kid with? Let me know in the comments. Maybe there are some surprising or, exotic languages there. Nevertheless, the journey that you set out on here is a marathon, not a sprint. So be consistent, use the free resources, and you'll be giving your child an amazing gift.
Come and
Bye.
sing with me today. Let's learn Spanish while we play. There's someone new at the park today. I think I'll go and say, oh.